All right. Good morning to those of you on the East Coast. Good morning also to those of you on the West Coast. I'm your host, Brandon Troy, host and co creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. Thanks so much for joining us wherever you're watching from, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Right now, fortunate to have a great guest for you guys this morning. They are the star of the series known as relationships. So let me bring that up for you guys that you guys just saw for TubiTV. I'd like to welcome on Michael Lewis. Let me bring him on now. Michael, how you doing, man?
How you doing, brother? I'm all right.
Good, good, good. So first off, thanks for taking the time to hop on this morning and to talk about this series. First and foremost, how's everything been going with you, man?
One day at a time. But the pandemic kind of slowed us down a little bit, but I think the world is in general is kind of opening back up. But other than that, everything's going good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So just to hit the ground running, can you talk a little bit about being a part of the series and having this series come together and how that all came about?
Yeah, it initially was the idea to just be a feature. So we didn't kind of anticipate this to be a series. Just got the just kind of got into the room with some other people and decided let's see what we can do as a series. And fortunately, the cast came together. Um, a lot of interviews, a lot of callbacks. We were undecided on a few people, but everything kind of fell into place, and we filmed it in Florida, so everything turned out well.
All right, excellent, excellent. I'm gonna have you move your phone back just slightly because I think just so I can see the rest. There
Good.
you go, perfect. Yeah, there we go. So to comment further, in terms of what's happening, what's going on in the series, this it has a lot of comedic elements, but underneath the surface, there are a lot of things that are at play with the characters. So can you talk a little bit about that in terms of despite the things that are going on with the characters and the things that they are tackling, still being able to find the humor in that, because there's some heavy things that a lot of the characters are dealing with. However, there's still some levity, a lot of levity that is brought about despite that.
Yeah, it's the dramedy side of it. I was a little nervous about doing because I know how certain people would react, to certain situations. Maybe didn't think it was funny or it wouldn't match. But you can kind of see the lighter moments, and then but when it gets serious, it gets serious. Um, I personally thought that the relationship between Uncle Mike and Aunt Rachel, that was one of the major ones. Of course, we started the series out showing, and um, the James character and his girlfriend, Jessica, we kind of didn't touch on that as much. That was kind of one we want to do a little lighter with. If you watched it, he had the little bee suit on, and that moment. But
Right, right, right.
uh, other than that, yeah, we want to show a different genres to people that they can relate to. That was one of the main goals. I think we kind of nailed that. Different walks of life. If you watch it, you can see we got a lot of different people in it. So but it is it's something that we hope is interesting to people and they can watch and keep up with it.
All right, awesome. And in terms of uh, making sure are as authentic as possible in capturing what's at play with some of the characters, with yours of having that military background. Can you speak to that in terms of the what process you had in order to make that as authentic as possible, perhaps getting having folks that are returning back to civilian life and things like that.
Yeah, well, actually, the co-founder, my good friend Lamar Smith, he's actually been in the military, and so he kind of has a first-hand knowledge of how that works. As far as we got to do a little research on coma, how people handle that and come out of it. and if it's even possible to still hear and have, so it's a lot that goes into it. You would think, you're just out cold, but you're not. Um, so I even thought to myself, like, well, wait, he's in coma. How does he? But he can. You still have a little bit of sense. When you're in that state. So a little research, a little background, but as far as me getting into that character, I didn't have any military experience, but understand how people deal with certain situations as far as being cheated on and you know something that you would never expect. I think most of us can say you can grasp that. I mean, some things happen. So getting to that aspect of it, I got it. I understood his pain and what he was going through.
Cool. And in terms of speaking to the, you were mentioning before of the story having that setting in Florida. What was that always the case in terms of setting that you guys had for the series, or was that always the plan? Because it does become a character in and of itself in terms of the cinematography that we have, in the series and capturing, the feel of Florida. So, perhaps it wasn't always Florida. Maybe it was someplace else. Maybe it was Atlanta. Maybe it was California. Like, was it always, that setting?
Yeah, it will. I'm in Michigan, so I knew for sure we didn't want to do it here. I wanted to give it a different feel, a different look for sure. And the majority of our cast that were responding back and that we felt were good were they happened to be in Florida. So we had some in Miami.
Circumstance. I got you.
So we had some in Orlando and Miami and Tampa, and we all just came together. And I had to fly out there myself, but it worked out. It worked out.
Cool, cool, cool. And before I, let you go, can you, as you just mentioned at the top, over the past like year and a half, it's been an interesting time for anyone in the industry in terms of navigating through what's happening out in the world right now, and still finding ways to still produce shows, be they film, TV, streaming, what have you, and trying to navigate through that. So can you also talk to that and how that came about in terms of still trying to navigate through that and making sure that this series could be available to people?
Well, you definitely have to pick your spots at this point. I think when it comes to the industry and how, maybe how you the the length in which you may wait to start filming again. You have to get
Yeah.
with everybody's schedule's so hard. We got people in our cast that's modeling and acting. They got other gigs going on. So the pandemic to me has brought in a way. I don't know a lot of people that are still going to movie theaters. I personally, I know they're opening back up again, but I think that it's here to stay as far as streaming services and different avenues like that to pitch to these networks because I personally I don't know if I'll be back in the movie theater. So I think this is going to be the way. This is the new norm, and we all just have to get used to it. Even in person audition is out. Everything is self tape. So
So, and actually, to add to that, in terms of folks that are creating series of their own and venturing out on their own, versus maybe 10 or 15 years ago, the landscape is completely different. Pandemic aside, even besides that circumstance, we have instances of, just by virtue of what we have available to us, on a just in general, with, like I said, with YouTube, with streaming, with all these various avenues that people can do to create content. For someone who is making that leap and venturing out to do that, whether they are actor, as you said, you're not really foreseeing that in-person auditioning is happening. I remember back when when in-person auditioning was a thing, and doing that, it's a completely different animal of doing content in person across from someone versus doing it, via screen. So, what advice would you have for someone in the current landscape now that is, making that leap to do that? What
Well,
would you suggest for them?
it's the good thing is that it's easier. It's easier for people to see your material, to see your content. If you stay patient with it and you keep going and be consistent, someone's going to see it. You can use your iPhone now to make a movie. It's easy.
Yeah,
So as long as you
absolutely.
got the passion to drive and keep putting a product out there, it's going to be seen.
All right, awesome. Well, Michael, thank you so much for hopping on and squeezing in some time to talk about relationships. Um, can you tell folks where they can find you?
Well, you can find me on IG, MLJ2286. If you have not watched Relationship yet, it is on Tubi. It's also available on Amazon, I believe, for $4.99. But we've got another season coming. We got another project we're going to be starting in May. So look out for Mike Mars Entertainment.
All right. Well, there you guys have it. Again, I want to thank Michael Lewis for talking about relationships. Again, we have it available on Tubi TV, as he said. Currently, I'm your host, Brandon Choi, host and co-creator of Movers and Shakers Unlimited. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be safe out there, and I'll see you soon. Bye.